How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video. And today we're going to be looking at the best captaincy choices for Game Week 11. If you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. We greatly appreciate it. We're on our way up to 1,300 subscribers, and hopefully we can hit our goal of 2,000 by the end of the FPL season. So if you haven't done so already, it's free to do. Hit the subscribe button, as well as give us a follow on all of these socials as well. Twitter and Twitch, in particular Twitter, so that you can get all the updates, as well as for Twitch when we do our deadline and preview streams. We will be doing another deadline stream since the Newcastle and Aston Villa game has been postponed until further notice. So we will be up and ready at 5 a.m. EST, 1 hour before the deadline on Saturday. And also turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And make sure to leave a comment down below as to which captain you're potentially looking at this week. I know there's a lot of good ones, and I think that there could be some pretty big scores depending on who you captain this week, if there is a variance in points, unlike last week. So without further ado, let's see what captains we have this week. So the first player we have on our list is Kevin De Bruyne. Seems like a pretty obvious pick, the most nailed, as it were, captaincy choice probably for this week in the Manchester City team, who have a very good fixture versus Fulham at home, which has an FDR rating of 2. He currently sits at 10.7 million. He's only got 39 points this season, which is, you know, a little bit less than what you would expect from De Bruyne, with just the 1 goal, but has 5 assists so far. He's only 20.8% ownership, which was actually quite surprising. He's gone up a little bit since last week, as people are probably bringing him in, seeing the Fulham fixture, seeing that he scored 10 points, much like a couple other midfielders, one of which we'll mention as a captain this week as well. And I think that he's one of these players that is basically how City tick. He's the one that is always involved. He's the straw that stirs the drink, and I'm pretty sure he's still going to be on penalties if City were to get one, which is probably very likely because of the fact that Fulham, they like to play out from the back. They could get themselves in trouble with that because City are a very good pressing team. And I think that Fulham are, you know, they're coming off a very confident win versus Leicester. And I just don't think some of those things will work versus City, who are very, very good. And you can say Pep Guardiola kind of invented the passing out from the back, style of play from the goalkeeper. And, they did make Leicester look quite bad. But I think that just City, coming off a 5-0 win, they're through in the Champions League. They're going to focus on the league now. Pep's come out and said that, and I think De Bruyne is going to be the key man in that. Also, De Bruyne is top for all Manchester City players in goal involvement in the last 4 games, with a 2.47 expected goals in the last 4 weeks. So that's basically he's involved in 2.74 goals and assists combined over the last 4 game weeks. So he should have had 2.5 goals or assists, or a combination of both in the last 4 game weeks, which is a lot higher than the next available player for City on that list, which I think was at like 1.5, which is a lot lower. And everything has been going through him since they've switched to like the 4-2-3-1, which Pep seems to favor a lot more this season, playing like Gundogan and Rodri and like the 2 holding roles. And De Bruyne gets forward a lot more and ends up taking more shots. So he's definitely a captain that I have my eye on. I don't have him currently in my team, but I'm definitely looking to bring him in for this game week. And the next captain we have on our list is Jamie Vardy, someone who people would say was maybe a little bit unfortunate based on the fixture, only come away with a very tiny score of 5 points, getting just the 1 assist in the 2-1 defeat versus Fulham at home at the King Power Stadium, which was quite surprising. A lot of people had high hopes for him. I was definitely wary of him and Salah, the 2 players that I didn't have that I thought could do quite well. However, Vardy has done a lot more damage away from home, which is why I have him on the list again this week. And I think he might even be a better option this week than he was last week. He currently sits at 10.2 million. He has 66 points, 8 goals, 3 assists, one of which he picked up in Game Week 10 in his Game Week score of 5, and is 29% owned at the time of recording. And Sheffield United is a team that hasn't been playing well at all. They are 4th worst for XG conceded, with a score of 7.30 goals conceded XG wise, and they've conceded 7 goals, so it's pretty much about right. They've also conceded 10 big chances, so you can pretty much say that if every big chance were to go in, they should have conceded 3 more. But over the last 4 games, 7 goals conceded with an XG conceded of 7.3, so it's pretty bang on. And Vardy, like we said, is very good at basically mopping up teams that are very poor defensively in terms of leaving space or leaving gaps for him to run through. And I think with Sheffield United having the injuries that they do at the back, some season long injuries, he could be someone who definitely exploits that. We kind of expected him to do that versus Fulham. They didn't allow the space and they played quite well, so you have to commend them for that. But I think this week is definitely somewhere where I think Vardy could thrive even more. So if you do have him, he's arguably a better captain than anyone this game week. And if you do have the option to go from Kane to Vardy, that is definitely one that I would potentially, consider going for and giving me the armband in game week 11. Our third captaincy choice for this game week is Bruno Fernandes. The man just can't stop scoring away from home, getting another double-digit haul with a score of 10 in game week 10. He's got 74 points, 7 goals, 4 assists, is just shy of 40% ownership, and is just shy of 11 million at 10.9 million in the midfield slot. He has a little bit of a tougher fixture. West Ham have been in some good form with an FDR rating of 3, but that doesn't stop him from scoring against teams that are away from home. And I think that West Ham are a team that, may seem good defensively on paper, but not necessarily are. So for the last 4 game weeks, Bruno Fernandes is top for big chances for Manchester United players, as well as West Ham is actually the 5th worst at XG conceded, with an XG conceded of 6.83. So almost 7 goals that they should have conceded from the 9 big chances that they've conceded. However, they've only conceded 3, which means that maybe their opposition was a bit unlucky, or maybe it wasn't as good as what they should have been and probably potentially taken more chances. So it's likely that West Ham should have conceded more goals than what they have. Whether it's down to Fabianski being a good goalkeeper, which is definitely possible, or the fact that the opposition just wasn't as good as what it should have been. They have had a few, more favorable fixtures from game week, I think it's game week 8 onwards. They've had 3 pretty easier fixtures than the first 7. So that may be a part of it. But I think that Bruno Fernandes is somebody who will take his chances and will be good at doing that, although he did miss a sitter versus Southampton, but he did end up getting the first goal, which sparked the comeback. So I think Fernandes is arguably a better captaincy on paper than Kevin De Bruyne this week. I wouldn't say he's necessarily better than Vardy, but he's definitely up there for the captaincy shout this game week. Now, the 4th captaincy option we have this game week is Harry Kane. The North London derby is this game week, and he hosts the Gunners at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or White Hart Lane, whatever you want to call it. He currently sits at 10.9 million as a forward. He's got 86 points, which is crazy to think of at this point in the season. 7 goals, 9 assists. Oh, still 42.5% ownership, which is quite high. And he's got his first blank in terms of score in game week 10 since game week 1, which is pretty crazy. So literally in game week 2 through 9, he scored an assist or a goal or a combination of both in every single one of those games. And I think he could definitely do the same versus Arsenal. In the 11 matches he has played since 2015, he's gotten 10 goals and 1 assist versus Arsenal all time. So I think that's pretty good over a 5-year-ish span. And of those 11 matches, 6 of them were at home, and 4 of those were wins and 2 of them were draws. So the most likelihood is that Kane, when he plays versus Arsenal, they're probably going to win, which means he's going to be among the goals. 6 of those goals came from the home matches as well, of the 10 goals and 1 assist in those 11 games. So he does quite well versus Arsenal. He's going to be definitely up for it. Mourinho's team have been doing quite well in the league as well, whereas Arsenal have been doing the exact opposite. So we can probably expect to be the game a bit cagey, but I think that Spurs should have enough to beat them. And if there's anyone that's going to definitely want to be on the score sheet versus Arsenal, it's Harry Kane. So if you still have him, potentially look to captaincy for Mr. Kane in game week 11. And the last captaincy option that we have for this week is a bit of a differential one. I typically go for one that's a bit off the wall, and that's actually Patrick Bamford. Now, he has a very difficult, kind of fixture here that one would say would be pretty crazy to captain him in, but hear me out on this one. He's versus Chelsea away, who have been keeping clean sheets and been doing quite well for themselves, but they haven't gone up against a team that's going to be like Leeds, who tend to have more possession, more shots, and just overall more chances than their opposition. Even they did it versus City, they did it versus Liverpool as well. He currently sits at 6.1 million, 7 goals, 2 assists with 62 total points, and just shy of 35% ownership. And is coming off a blank from his home fixture, where he only scored 2 points in game week 10. But if you look at what he does away from home, he definitely thrives a lot more. And it's been of a mixed bag of fixtures. Liverpool, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace have been the away fixtures for Leeds this season, and he's returned in all of them. 7 points versus Liverpool, 8 versus Sheffield United, 7 versus Crystal Palace, and a whopping 17 in his hat-trick versus Aston Villa, and is doing quite well for himself away from home. Now, if you do have the likes of Bruyne or KANE or somebody like that, or Fernandes or VARDY, I would say captain one of them first. But if you really want to go Maverick, Bamford could be the one for you. He will do well in away fixtures, and it might just be enough to just have him in your team as one of your cheaper forwards. But I would not be surprised if Bamford were to kind of spoil the Chelsea party and nick a goal at Stamford Bridge. So make sure to look out for him this game week. And that's going to do it for the best captaincy choices, in my opinion, for Game Week 11. I know Salah we didn't have on the list or touch on Liverpool, but I think Wolves have been kind of experimenting and may revert back to their back three. But make sure to leave a comment down below as to who you think is your captain for this week. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We greatly appreciate it, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. And also give us a follow over on Twitter and Twitch. It's PilotBlame226 on those platforms, and check out our pinned comment down below. That'll let you know when the next stream is always, and where to go follow us on Twitter and Twitch. Links are also in the description as well. But we will be doing a deadline stream for Game Week 11 this Saturday at 5 a.m. EST, which is 1 hour before the FPL deadline. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.